Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to Northwest Arkansas's newest podcast. I am your host, Juan Carlos JC, and we have my co host here, Enrique.
Hey everybody, Enrique here, like Juan Carlos said. Thanks for tuning in. Really happy to hear from you guys here in a little bit.
Well, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Man, Enrique, how do you feel?
I'm feeling good right now, man. Feeling good. It's something new, and I think trying new things and doing things that could be maybe outside of your comfort zone, good for your character, I think. And I mean, I'm excited to get things going, man. How are you feeling about it?
Good, man. I agree with you. I think trying new things. I just posted, or excuse me, I posted yesterday how we are turning an idea to a reality, and I think that right there is definitely what this is. Um, being a new, being new into this journey, podcast journey. We did want to bring something to the area that was different, something that I have not seen too much of.
Mhm.
So thank you, Enrique, for joining me.
Yeah, man. Of course, dude. I'm happy to be here. Like you said, when you brought the idea to my attention, I thought it was good. We sat down, we chatted about maybe like an hour and a half. I think is what we
For real.
the time that we took.
For
We
real,
haven't had
yeah.
coffee. We're just talking, and I really liked it right away. So I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man. I did always wonder, or I did wonder what you thought I was going to talk to you about when I reached out to you, and I'd imagine something like this is probably wasn't even a thought. But I'm really glad that you joined me. To be honest with you, I didn't have someone else in mind, at least at the time. So if you would have declined, if you weren't interested or so,
Right.
man, I don't know who I would have thought of. But man, again, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like, just happy to be here, man. I mean, I know whenever you first approached me, I honestly had no idea what you were gonna bring up. A part of me thought that it was gonna do with real estate, being an agent, maybe something to do with the team or what ideas you wanted to know about prospecting, whatever it is, right? In terms of real estate. So yeah, the podcast was something that I didn't expect at all.
Same, man. I know what you mean. Even for me, when I came up with this idea, and I knew I had to kind of jump on it, and I thought of you, man. And so, like I said, man, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you giving me your time. And just want to remind our listeners, if you're not following us, man, I really ask that you guys do. Like I said, look us up on Instagram. It is So NWA podcast. But I really wanted to share with you guys where this idea of this podcast came from, and it is a Bible verse that really means a lot to me, and this is who Juan Carlos is down at his core about serving others, and it is Mark chapter 9 verse 35, and it goes, sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, anyone who wants to be first must be the very last and the servant of all. And for me, to me, that's just a precious, a really important scripture for me. It's
Mhm.
like I said, it's who Juan Carlos is, my thoughts, a lot of the things when I meet with people, when I have relationships with people, friends and family. My foremost thought is what can I do to serve them, and my close friends, my close family might say that I'm always trying to um trying to maybe show them new things, but I'm always thinking what's the best that
Hmm.
I can give them.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think just being able to give is super important, man. Being a giving person, being able to serve others, to be a resource, to be a guide or whatever, right? I think that's always very, very important. And yeah, dude, and just the idea is there to be a servant. And I mean that verse right there that you shared, I think that's really powerful, man. You know, recently for me, faith has been super important on my everyday everyday kind of being,
Hmm.
lack of better words.
Hmm.
So yeah, just being able to share that verse and showing that being a servant and being faithful and thinking that that's important for others, that's huge.
Oh man, thank you. And I support you in those things. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's a glory to God. That's the reason I'm here, and I just want to share that with people. But serving others and how that is through this podcast is also important. And just to kind of give an idea of what this and how this idea for me when people are on this show, and what the audience might think what that means is. But just to get into, just a quick bit into the area, in Northwest Arkansas, I was thinking, what can I do to create content or create something that recognizes people, recognizes the local area. I love Northwest Arkansas so much. It has done so much for me and my family, my wife's family, and things like that. What can I do to really highlight this
Mm.
area? As we all know, this area is growing so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, yeah, it's growing a ton. I mean, I know it's not real estate that we're talking about right now, but
right.
there's just buildings and houses being built all over the place. So, I
Hmm.
mean, you can just see the impact that this area is having on people,
Hmm.
and I think it's really important to highlight that and just kind of be aware and how it's serving our local community.
Right. No, it's 100%. And like I said, this area is growing so much, and I had this thought. I said, man, what can I do to connect with people, to serve people, and to also capture their stories? And of course, this is where we're at now. This
Hmm.
idea, this podcast,
Yep.
and for anyone who, for our listeners, people that are going to be here, people are going to be a guest speaker on our show. Again, it's big or small. It's your local, it might be your local business that deserves a shout out,
Hmm.
that we highlight. It could be someone who is just a family friend that, they are just bigger. I mean, like I was saying this yesterday. If everyone knows like that one worker somewhere. It could be like a janitor, it can be a nurse, it
Yeah.
could be somebody at a company, and you're like, dude, that person, every time I see them, just blesses me, or
Mm.
just has something about them that I want to highlight. And this is what this podcast is about, is to serve that person, you know me and Enrique, to that person, that
Hmm.
individual, know their story, share that story, and then whatever comes out of this podcast for, um, I don't want to say for them, for us, yeah, just a plus, right? And I really just want to put that in the beginning to say, guys, we love people.
Hmm.
We want the community to be highlighted. And we want to share that with y'all.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, because if you think about it, let's say we bring somebody here, like you said, it could be a local business owner, it could be somebody who's bringing a lot of value, maybe somebody who's involved in local events, whatever the case is. We bring them on. We're letting people know their story, and I mean that could bring our listeners tons of value. I mean, they can learn something from this person from listening to the conversations that are being held, listening to their story and how they got to Northwest Arkansas, how they were able to grow here and make it a home for them, and really just what impacted them about the community here in Northwest Arkansas.
Hmm.
And so I think I just really want to know, Juan Carlos, why did you even want to have me be a part of your journey here with this podcast? I know you said that you didn't have like anyone else
Yeah, yeah.
that was like a backup. Let's say I told you, no, I'm not interested, and you said, oh, well, I don't know what I was gonna do. But why did you even decide to sit down with me and present the opportunity to me?
Man, great question. Man, I gotta say, Enrique, and for the audience, I have, I've met, and I've known Enrique for a little bit less than a year,
Hmm.
and we met through our real estate team, the DS team. We're both on it, and a shout out to
Shout
Francisco.
out the Diaz team.
Yeah, shout out the DS team, and shout out Francisco.
Oh yeah,
So that is how Enrique and we met. And honestly, I hadn't shared this with you, but one of my first experiences with you, remember, we did our first open house together.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We did. I remember. I think it was, I don't know who kind of brought the idea to me, but I think I was gonna host it. And I said, "Hey, Juan Carlos, come with me." And so we went, and I told you, "Hey, we're gonna do a Facebook Live right now."
Oh yes, I
And
remember
and
that.
and
Yep,
you, I could tell you were a little bit nervous,
bro, I was nervous.
and
Yep.
I was like, "Bro, who cares, bro? Like, just take the phone out and hit live, and then you're good."
No, that is a very true story. So, and I can think of these things, that made you stick out in my mind.
Mm,
But for to that story, yes, that was one of those stories that I said, man, there's this guy on the team willing to come do this open house with me, and I just met him. He didn't have to, but he did, And I remember we were sitting in that house and we were just talking, and I
Yeah.
think just those conversations, man, dude, those allergies, remember that?
Oh, it was so bad. I was just sitting there like suffering the whole
Dude,
time for the
yeah.
2 hours we had that open house.
Oh man, dude,
I was just like my eyes were crying. I couldn't stop sneezing. Like my throat was itchy. I really not one of my better days. I'll say that for sure.
for
I was definitely dying with those allergies.
dude, no, but yeah, that day, just it left an impression on me. And then if you recall, I think the week after that open house, I had my one of my first buyer consultations.
Yes, I remember that.
And you challenged me. You said, "Hey, make after you're done with the consultation, make a video." And like you're like, I personally challenge you to make the video. And again, no one really does stuff like that with me. No one really does.
Mm,
I don't want to say challenges me, but no one really pushes me like that. Generally
okay.
speaking, in a good way.
Right,
And
right.
and I was like, dude, look at this kid. He's just look at this guy. He's telling me, telling me to do something, and I don't want to back down. So you know what? In again in a
That's
healthy way,
funny.
yeah, in a healthy way. And I just said, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
of course,
remember
man.
I remember sitting in that car after I finished, and I mean, it took me like 30, 40 minutes to do it.
I remember I texted you. I was like, "Bro, did you make the video?" And you said, "Yeah, I sat in my car for 30 minutes or whatever, trying to do the right take." And I thought that was so funny. But dude,
And it's
I
on my
felt proud of
Instagram.
you. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's kind of funny because you're older than me,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But I felt very proud that you were willing to do that risk and put yourself out there. Because obviously, putting a video of yourself
yeah.
on social media, I mean,
That's
that makes anyone nervous, right?
bro.
And so the fact that you were willing to do it, I mean, that speaks about your character. You know what I mean? That you're willing to
Oh
do what it
man,
takes.
thank
So,
you. No, dude. So that, and then just a few interactions we had, like through the team.
mhm.
Francisco had a little get together at his house, and I'm really observant, and those are just some things I pick up on. But bro, I like I said, I want to highlight this for you, dude. You're a younger kid than me, but dude, I think you're really smart. I think you're very humble. I know that you work hard, and you got a good head on your shoulders.
Mm.
And you are someone that I want to be, around, right? Not and even yeah. So and as a reference, guys, I'm 33, Enrique.
I'm 24.
24.
24.
So
Yeah.
that you kind of have this 9, 10 year gap, but at the same time too, because of that gap, there's a different perspective that Enrique has than I do. So to me, th- all those things. Oh, of course, bro, you're Spanish.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta talk about my Spanish. I know we're sidetracking just a little bit. So I can read it, I can write it, I can translate it, but man, like there's obviously very specific words that I just don't know.
Bro, man.
And honestly, I feel that way also about English. So it's like I'm probably not fluent in either language. But yeah, I mean, my Spanish they could use a little tweaking, but I know more than enough to be call it fluent, quote unquote.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, my Spanish, I 100, man, I'm a no sabo kid, bro.
Ah, come on, bro. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, sitting here, I don't think I've ever heard you talk Spanish.
Man, if I don't have to, no, I'm not that I'm ashamed. Dude, my employees, where I work, I have to speak Spanish pretty frequently, and it's
Mm,
just funny, man. They do help me with it. It's just certain words, and actually, personally, I translate my when I translate and talk in Spanish,
mm.
I'm literally using my mind tells me like if I'm speaking English and that English word would be in Spanish, that's how I talk. So, dude, already like I make this joke where like when me and my wife we go to Mexico, bro, when they as soon as I open my mouth, man, I get charged extra, bro. They're like, man, charge that guy tourism tax, charge him whatever the American
That's so
price.
funny, dude.
And so a lot of times, like the few times we've gone to Mexico, I'll just have my wife speak,
There you
and
go. You're
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
avoid that
yeah,
tax,
to avoid
man.
that tax,
You're
yeah,
being smart
exactly,
financially. That's good.
yeah,
That's what
man,
matters, man.
it is exactly, and I
Gotta
just laugh.
save the pennies when you're on vacation, bro. Every dollar counts when you're spending money
That's
on your
so funny.
vacation.
So, but it's all those things, man. Like I said, good head on your shoulders. You're humble. You're courageous. You challenge me in that sense.
Mm.
I think you're funny. And again, so all those things, just I think a combination. Really, I think I'm glad that you're sitting here with me,
Yeah,
man.
well, thank
And
you, bro. I appreciate the kind words. I mean, obviously, you don't have to sit here and tell me how you feel about me, and so I appreciate it, man. So makes me feel good. Makes me feel
bro,
like I'm a good person. So thank you.
and it's even for our listeners too. I want them to what the big three things that I have put kind of for this show,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
is genuineness, you know, being
Sure.
authentic,
Yeah, man.
having fun and engaging. You know,
Mhm.
fun is just really being who we are as people.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of things nowadays are really serious. A lot of things going on in, you know, just part, you know, in our world, and really, I want to, you know, be a light in the world. So, you know, being genuine, being fun, and engaging. You know,
Mhm.
so those things are like a big, you know, kind of like the big three for this podcast. That tone for people, but you know, uh, moving on, you know, from that, you know, man. So Enrique, tell me how you got here, man. Tell me,
How
when
did we
did you
end up
move
here
here?
in Northwest
Yeah,
Arkansas?
no, how did you end up in Northwest
Okay.
Arkansas? Tell me about your family, man. Tell me about, you know.
Well, I guess we can start from the beginning, right? I mean, I don't remember the beginning. I don't think anyone does, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
think you just subconsciously realize you're living by
Feel
like
like 3.
5 or 6.
Yeah, 3, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like you're
something like
playing
that.
with a toy, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm alive right now.
Man, why didn't I buy that house?
Bro. Why was I being born during the 2000s, bro?
Yeah,
Come on,
ah,
come
man.
on now. But no, yeah. So just a little bit about myself. I was born in Plainfield, New Jersey. Don't go to Plainfield, New Jersey.
You're a Jersey kid.
It was I went there, when was it? I think when I was 12 or 13, and it seemed very dangerous. Put it in that way.
I see, I see.
So we left New Jersey when I was about 2 years old, so I don't remember anything. The only thing I could remember from New Jersey was playing on these steps with my sister, but that's literally it. I don't know nothing else.
How, you know, couple years old, maybe 5 or
I
6?
was I was like 2.
Oh,
I
okay,
only
okay.
remember like sitting on these steps as a 2-year-old, and that's literally it.
Ah, okay.
I don't know nothing else. I don't know what I did on those steps or whatever. But anyways, we left New Jersey and we went down to Florida. We moved to Hialeah.
Okay.
It's literally right next to Miami. So the Miami slash Hialeah area is where we ended up moving to.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami, dude.
Dude.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man.
Dude, it is
I
crazy.
bet you Miami. At least the Miami I have in my head now, I know for a fact it's not the same Miami it is today, because I have a very different vision in my head, obviously as a child,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
compared to as it is now. Because I see videos of Miami now and it looks very different.
Yeah,
And I'm sure if I were to go back to where my childhood house was over there,
yeah.
it probably wouldn't look the same.
For sure. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, I
but
get
yeah,
you.
so
I
we
get you on that.
moved there from Jersey. We went to Florida. We were there for a while, and then we moved up here around 2008, 2009 when the market crashed.
Mhm.
My father was just looking for, I think, work or whatever, and he had an opportunity up here. So then we ended up moving here to Northwest Arkansas, and we've pretty much been here ever since then.
Okay.
So like half of
Okay.
my childhood was in Florida, the other half, and obviously up to this point has been here in Northwest Arkansas.
For sure. For sure, man. You know, how's life been here for you since you've been here?
I think it's been good. I
Okay.
know when we first got here, obviously I was a kid. I was like unhappy. I didn't know what was going on,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
But as time passed, and now that I'm a young adult living here and just making my life
Yeah.
here in Northwest Arkansas, I mean I like it here. I think it's good. And we got the best of both worlds, right? We got
Mhm.
nature, we got city life, quote
Mhm.
unquote. Obviously not like New York or any other of those major cities, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like we have a good mixture of everything,
Mhm.
to where I do enjoy
It's
our
true.
dynamic
It's
here.
true. I really think that this area offers a lot of the amenities that the bigger cities have.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as condensed as
Hmm.
you know, bigger cities.
True.
It's a little bit spread out from, you know, all the way from, maybe, you know, Bella Vista all the way down to
I mean,
Fayetteville.
we have so many cities here. I mean, just to name a few off the top of my head, what, like Silent Springs, Fayetteville, Rogers, Lowell,
Yeah.
Springdale. There's so many, right? And
And it's actually, you know, I someone had, you know, a few of my California friends
mm,
have reached. I'm like, oh, what is NWA? You know, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, hey, it's Northwest Arkansas, and if you're a local here, you know, if you're from here, you know, we refer the whole NWA area, literally this corner of the state,
Yeah,
right? So it's like taking 5, 6, 7, 8 cities and kind of combining it to one. You
yeah,
know, so you know, you might be, you know, if you're hanging out with your family, you might be in Bentonville for the first part of the day, and then you kind of drive down to Fayetteville and hang out a little over
yeah,
there. And to us, we're like, oh, dude, you're still in the same city, right? It's like the unofficial
yeah.
big city
Right.
for us.
Hmm.
But yeah, like people be like, man, Bentonville's so small, or Rogers is so small. I drove for 10 minutes and I was in, Lowell, and we're like, dude,
Yeah,
you're in the same city, right? Because in bigger
yeah.
cities, you're
Obviously, different place and
Yeah,
different
I mean,
name,
it
but
is a
I mean,
different
like you
answer, but
said, to
yeah.
your point, it's just this whole northwest corner, like those the five major cities or whatever.
Yeah.
They're considered that Northwest Arkansas. But going away from that, you mentioned California and
Yeah.
your friends.
Yeah.
That tells me maybe you're from California. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly where from California you're from. So
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
are you from? How'd you get here?
Yeah, man. So, good question, man. My family moved here when I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
I was born in California. We moved here. My parents, they bought a home here. They lived here, and we had been here. I mean, I've been here ever since. So
Okay.
to me, there was a year or two that I moved back to California, like in grade school. But out of my 18 years of or basically my K through 12
Mm.
schooling,
Hmm.
uh, 2 of those years I was not in Arkansas.
Okay.
So to me, I believe, I was raised here in Arkansas. I
Right.
grew up here in Arkansas. Like, this is home for me.
Okay.
I love the fresh cut grass. I love the trees. I love the open land. I love all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so born in California, moved here. After high school, I did move back to California. So, my mom is here, my dad's in California. So I went to go, live with my dad. Went to school out there. I always say I did like my 20s in
Mm.
California. That's kind of how
Okay.
I look at it. And then my wife and I, we just moved back. Well, we moved back 4 years ago. And we moved back home. Like, this is home
Yeah.
for us. But like I said, in California, we I really, enjoyed time out there. Went to school out there. Had my career. I worked in the hotel industry for
Yeah.
for
Okay.
almost all my life in California. That's what I did.
So did you meet your wife out in California then, or did you meet her here in Arkansas and then you went over there to California and then you came back? How was that?
That's a story, man. But the short version of it is we met online,
Okay.
and while I was living here, and then she lived in California.
Ah,
And
okay.
when I moved to California, I met her.
Now I know the real reason why you went to California. You went to
Yeah, it
look for
was.
your
Yeah,
wife.
well, that's
There
what it
you
was.
go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that is what that's how it was. And then yeah, no, like I said, and then we got married at 23,
Okay.
2014. We just celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Wow,
So
man.
yeah,
Congratulations, dude.
thank
That's
you.
huge.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
that's
man.
huge, bro.
That's it right there. It's been magic. It's been magic ever since.
Yeah, there you go. Man,
But
dude.
yeah, man. So Enrique, what do you do now? Yeah,
Well, right now, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, we're on the same real estate team. So I'm a real estate agent here servicing the whole Northwest Arkansas area.
for sure.
And I'm full time doing that.
Nice,
For at
nice.
one point, I was working other jobs while working real estate,
Yeah,
but I decided, man, you know what? I really got to dedicate all my time to real estate, to helping my clients and servicing them and giving them my full attention. That
yeah,
way, they're not getting a disservice when they choose to hire and work with me. So that's what I do. And you mentioned you're obviously we know you're in real estate. Are you
yep,
doing anything else aside
yeah.
from real estate, or what's going on there?
Man, I swear, I do a few things. And for the audience listening, there's a very specific reason for doing these things. But essentially, I call it right now. I just the podcast makes it five, but
Oh wow,
yeah, right.
wow.
I, um, I do so I have my normal, 8 to 5, and then I'm also a bartender at a local restaurant in town.
Mhm.
I do that, and funny enough, I do that because that's my people fix. Like, again,
Yeah,
going
because
back,
you're very social. You're like a social butterfly, if you
yeah,
will. You know,
something
you
like
like to
that.
talk,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can see how being a bartender can
Uh,
help fill that need of having that conversation with strangers.
definitely, like I said, I like meeting people, like talking to people, but yeah, so I do that, and it kind of feels that. But actually, to be honest, I've always had almost two jobs most of my life.
Really?
I did, I
Okay.
really did. So I have my main job, and that is I really enjoy my main job. But then I pick this up like on the weekends and things like that.
Sure.
So I do that. Then after that, I'm a planning commissioner here in P Ridge, and I've been doing that for almost it's a little bit less than 2 years now. And so that's third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whenever you told me about that, dude, I thought that was the coolest thing ever that you're working on the commission for your city. So
yeah,
that just goes to show how truly involved you are with the community here. I mean, specifically, like you said in Pure Ridge. And I mean, I think that That shows the audience, man. This guy knows what he's doing. This guy,
I
this guy's
appreciate
the real deal.
real deal. Man, it's been such a learning curve. And some people, may not know what that is. And just a
Mm.
very, very,
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
short, brief overview of it is, a planning commissioner basically we are we don't work for the city,
Mm.
but there is some compensation for it. But we are citizens of the town.
Sure.
You're getting, at least in this position, a planning commission for us, we get appointed, so you interview for it. You don't have to run for it like council or
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and you get appointed for it. And I interviewed for the position because there was one that was opening, or that one that was open. And I really just, like I told the board at the time, I said, man, I'm not familiar too much with what exactly planning commissioners do, but I want to be involved in my city, my town, and
Right.
see what we do. And again, what we do, people come, businesses, there's businesses, we go through like the application process.
Yeah.
If a business want to open up in here in P Ridge, basically we're looking at the application, making sure that they're in compliance with coding or
Right.
code and zoning and things like that. You're looking at blueprints. You're meeting the developers. You're meeting,
Mm.
essentially the owners, or things like that. And you're just, you as a commissioner are trying to do the best use of the land for your
For the
town,
town.
for the city
Right.
town.
Okay.
And so there's that responsibility that you are representing your neighbors, right? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
and
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to look out for everyone's
yeah,
best interest,
correct.
which I can see it being a little bit
It
challenging.
is. It
Right.
is. It is. Yeah. Right now, P Ridge, we're really busy. We got a lot of subdivisions going in,
Oh yeah.
and the big. I mean, this is the number one topic, and is, when are they going to make the roads bigger here in P Ridge? We got two main highways in and out of P Ridge, and they're both only they're 2 lane highways, right?
Yeah.
So, and actually, just a quick, I say this, a quick
Like side note.
side note, yeah,
Yeah.
we will be having the mayor of P Ridge on
Ooh,
soon.
that's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's
that's
gonna be
gonna be
cool. Yeah,
exciting, man. Yeah, I'm
and
looking
he's
forward to meeting the mayor, dude. I've never sat in a room with the mayor before, so that's gonna be a cool experience, dude.
and actually, this is a shout out to him. He's a great guy. He's worked so hard for the time that he's been here in P Ridge. I
How
think,
long has he been the mayor
I
of
want to
P
say,
Ridge now?
I think the year that I no, it was the following year. So back in 22, 21 or 22,
Hmm.
he's been the mayor of P Ridge. Nathan Sees is his name. But for me, now that I'm kind of involved with the community in the city, I really recommend and I highly suggest
Hmm.
people, wherever you're at in Rogers, Centerton, Siloam, Rogers, Bentonville,
Yeah, yeah,
Springdale,
yeah.
go to your planning commission meetings. You will learn so much about, your town, your city. I guess if you want to, right? Like, if you want to
Yeah, of
learn.
course.
But I'll always say this now that I'm more involved. If you're not involved, then you can't really, I guess you can say, you can't really complain later. So
Yeah. Like, let's say they make a decision for something
yeah,
like a road or
even,
whatever it is,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
then it's something that you may not be for.
yeah.
I can see your point from what you're saying. Like,
We as planning commissioners, we want the voice of the community. Something, an issue might come, or not an issue, like something will come up, and you would think that the town might uh, come and speak on it, and you might just
mm,
have one person, right? And again, every city's different,
sure.
so, but just get involved. That's a big thing with one of our civil duties, right? Just get involved with your
Yeah,
community. But
that's cool.
so I just to wrap that up, so I do that. I do real estate, and I do real estate part time. This year, I've really learned a lot, and I think, in the future, I think there'll definitely be that transition to full time. And then finally is this podcast, right? So the podcast is number 5. Uh, excuse me, that we're doing.
Man,
But
you are a busy bee.
I'm gonna
you
tell you, very careful planning, very careful. Organization is super important,
Oh yeah, that's
and
key for anything, man.
yeah, 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 especially for, for like real estate and things like that.
Mm,
But man,
absolutely.
thank you, and I just want to say thank you for all the things that I do, that they work with me on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's another thing. It's not, the planning commission meetings are the same. That first Monday of every month, or sorry, first Tuesday of every month.
Mm. So
So,
you're meeting once a month
yeah,
with that.
meeting,
Okay.
and then there's reviews and things like that.
Right,
But,
right, right.
for bartending, or being a server or whatever, again, that's like a scheduled, shift in advance, so you
Mm,
have notice, right? If it's the weekend, the podcast, that's something that takes my, is a new thing that I've added, but with coordination, it really makes it
yeah,
work.
it
So
should work out well.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
being
So
smart, and I personally use Google Calendar a lot
oh man,
to
go,
schedule
go.
my day,
Yeah,
and I didn't used to do that before.
yeah,
Once I started doing that, man, I feel like my whole day, if it's busy, like
yeah.
that helped me keep it super structured, man.
Oh man, that's good.
Like
That's
it
good.
really like physically puts it in my mind
Uh-huh.
that I have to do this. And if I don't look at it and I don't check mark whatever I have to do,
Hmm.
then it's like messing with my brain. So that really helps keep me in check at least. So for the audience, if you need like help with being more organized, I would recommend Google Calendar.
Google Calendar, man.
That's what I use.
Yeah, and it's setting those habits that really
Hmm.
make a difference.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's so funny. Like even if I'm gonna have a dinner with my wife, or we'll go out, and obviously if it's not on the spot, I'll put it on the
Yeah.
calendar. I
Yeah.
think just visually, I'm a visual person, so if I see that visually, I'm like, oh, cool, I got 2 hours from this meeting to that meeting or something like that. Oh, great, I'm good.
Bro, sometimes I just forget that I'm doing stuff, so I have to look at my calendar, or I'm
That's
not
funny.
gonna remember.
That's
So
funny.
if it's not on my calendar, then I'm like, oh, I don't gotta do anything. Next thing you know, somebody's calling me or texting me, hey, well, were we supposed to do this or
Oh
something?
man,
And I'm
that's
like,
that's
oh
a
no.
that's a bad feeling right there.
So it hasn't happened to me that often, maybe like once or twice, but when it does, I always feel pretty guilty about it. So I gotta utilize that Google Calendar, being organized, man.
For sure, man. So,
Man,
so what's been on your mind recently that you want to share with your listeners? What's on your heart? What's on your mind, man?
man, to get a little bit deep, like I mentioned earlier, faith, having faith, I think is super important. I think for a long time, I didn't have faith
Hmm.
in whatever you believe in. For me, it would be like the Catholic Church and
Hmm.
God and
Hmm.
Jesus Christ and all that. For a long time, I didn't believe in those kinds of
Yeah.
things, and I think recently now, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I mean, I think having that faith and learning to have something positive in your life is so important. So I've been thinking a lot about my faith, and I feel I've been going on this spiritual journey
Hmm.
and growing that faith and becoming more appointed
Sure.
with that. And
Sure.
I mean, I
Sure.
think it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, if it's not true, I mean, you just had something positive in your life every day. You know,
Is it? Yeah.
just to point that out there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Man, that's great, dude. And I support you on that, and that actually for me too. The year 2025 was my year to also grow my faith too.
mm,
So man, that's awesome, brothers already.
yeah.
Me and you, and that's great, dude. But
Yeah, what about you? Aside from faith, anything, or if it was faith, has that been on your mind?
it
What have you
has,
been thinking about?
this podcast really stemmed from that. Like I said, that Bible verse of
Yeah,
who
yeah,
one
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But I don't it don't what's something that I can do to connect with people, right? I mean, uh, I'm basically turning something that fuels me, like something that I do, just podcast or not, that's just something that I do, but now turning into kind of, I don't want to, it's not a hobby, right? It's really a passion, but turning that
Yeah,
passion into a project.
you're turning it into reality, like you said.
Yeah, and getting people on here because I think again, everyone, of course, everyone has a story to tell, but
Sure.
going back to this area, going back to what we have to offer, who this town, what this town is, what's going on in this town, where we'll be at in 5 years, and things like that. Man, I feel like there's going to be a number of, we're going to have a number of guest speakers on here, and
Oh
again,
yeah.
I just want that somewhere where someone who comes in a few years down the line
Hmm.
can jump on our podcast and say, "What do they have?" I don't know. That's funny. I keep thinking of Kennedy's Coffee because they've been here for so
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you know Kennedy's Coffee, shout out to them. They've been here since '03.
Oh wow.
And now we have a lot of coffee shops, but back in
They're
the
an
day,
OG.
they're an OG, man. Yeah, straight up. If back in the day, if you went to Kennedy's Coffee, like it was nice, right? You had Starbucks and you had Kennedy's Coffee
Mm.
back in the day. But anyways, so I think of those stories, I think of those people, whoever
Yeah. Yeah.
decided to
Yeah.
make that, and just hear it and say, "Wow, you know what? Kennedy's Coffee has been here for over 20 years. I didn't even know who it was."
It's just interesting to know like why they made their roots here. You know what I mean? Like why
Sure.
did they
Oh yeah.
pick Northwest Arkansas to make a
Yeah.
coffee shop
Yeah.
or make a restaurant
Yeah.
or entertainment thing, whatever it is, right? Like
Right.
what made them pick NWA? Like what led them here? What was their journey?
Hmm.
What was their impact with this area?
Hmm.
And ultimately, I think sharing that is really important.
Definitely.
Capturing it,
Definitely.
making sure we know things about our local area that are going to be thought about forever.
And this isn't about real estate necessarily. This is not about like, oh, what yeah, Enrique and I are in real estate, but this is not about that. Like I was saying, my goal or the goal for the podcast is to really get people from the hospitality industry, restaurants, venues,
Everywhere.
hotels, and just talk about their story. Like I keep thinking of the Motto that just opened up in downtown Bentonville. Super cool hotel,
Mm.
right in front of the Ledger Building. Getting the person who designed the Ledger Building, or at least trying to, or getting the owner, whoever it is, to just talk about it, dude. The Ledger Building, if you don't know, is the first bikeable building. I think
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to say in the states, like in the United States.
I I
Yeah,
I I don't know. I don't want to say that
I
and then
want
be
to say it
wrong.
is.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just know that here in our area, it's like the only one that
I
you
mean, it
can
is
go
no,
up on a
yeah, yeah,
bike.
yeah.
That I know for sure. Here in our area,
Yeah.
yes.
So if you don't know what that is, Google the Ledger Building, Bentonville, and you'll see it. And again, it's the first
They got a
bikeable
coffee
building.
shop downstairs.
They do Airship Coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they make good coffee too.
they
I
do.
like their
Do we
coffee.
have again? We have so many coffee spots, but and not in a bad way at all. I love it. Like I
Hmm.
love
Oh yeah.
the variety that we have here. But to that point, healthcare industry, getting people in here, dude. I want to get my chiropractor in here. Seriously, I shout out to Doctor
Dude, we're
Smith.
gonna be like halfway through talking. Next, all you're gonna hear is clack, 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 clack. It's gonna be
Yeah. Oh,
popping your
that's good.
back.
Yeah.
That's fun, dude.
Dude, in this case, Dr. Smith, his office, dude, is right across the street on from the new Walmart home office. The
Ah,
guy's been here. Like I can when I go to get adjusted, on his wall, you can see this guy's been here for again a long, long time. So to get his perspective, his ideas, his experience of the area, and then now he's I don't know how old he is, but now, dude, the new Walmart home office is right across. He can walk across the street to it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Who would have thought? He has his building. He's been there forever. So, anyways, so just things like that. So, yeah, healthcare, public education. Everyone knows a principal, teacher, counselor,
Yeah, yeah.
athletic director that they made a huge impression on. With let's get him in here.
Yeah, yeah, man. I
You
think
got somebody like that?
I do. I have a few people in mind. One teacher that I can think of, his name is Mr. Berdez, and he. So to give a little backstory, I went and graduated from Rogers New Technology High School. They are based in Rogers, Arkansas, and like I said, 4 years of my high school there. I graduated, and he, for me, was a really good teacher because and not just a teacher, a good person overall,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But I remember during that time, it was my junior year in high school, and that's kind of around the time that a lot of people are kind of telling you, "Oh, you need to start thinking about what you want to do because
Yeah,
after high
yeah.
school, it's the rest of your life, right?" And I didn't know. I really felt that pressure, and I kind of was like worried, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I trusted his opinion and his advice. So I remember I reached out to him, and he actually took time out of his day to sit down and talk to me for like a good hour, hour
Hmm.
and a half, I think.
Oh man, that's amazing.
So to Juan Carlos's point, we want those people here. We want those people who've impacted you.
Yeah,
Whether it doesn't matter where they're from.
yeah.
Their story is just as important. The value they bring.
Mhm.
Teachers, business owners. It could be your cousin that works at assisting the soup kitchen. Whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
I think those people have
Local
that story and that value.
nonprofits,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
local
All that
organizations,
good
things like that.
stuff.
Yep.
And we really want to capture that because
Yeah.
that's what really makes our area here.
You know, and actually, I did not mention this, or maybe I did, but so NWA really is serving others Northwest
Hmm.
Arkansas. So that is there right for that, guys. But
Yeah.
man, let me think, man. Let me think. As we progress in this podcast and just everything we've talked about, man. Again, something that I thought was really funny. Something that we did
In our post
in our
for the
post.
post, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember you texted me like, "Hey, bro, what's your favorite food?"
everyone can connect with food, man.
And you know what I thought? I was like, "Is this guy gonna like buy me whatever I
Oh,
tell
I
him?"
see. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so I just thought it was funny. So to that point, since we're talking about food, I mean,
yeah,
what
yeah,
would be
yeah.
your favorite food? Like, what do you think would
Man,
be like? Let's say you wake up tomorrow, you're like, man, this is really on my mind right now.
oh man, It's always between 2 things.
Okay.
My favorite food. Well, uh, mom's food and dad's food, and I say that
Ah.
my mom is Salvadorian, so, pupusas, tamales, what is it, horneado,
Mm.
right? Like, all day.
What about panes rellenos? That's a Salvadorian
Yeah,
food.
yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that what it
yeah,
is?
yeah, yeah,
Ah,
horneado,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
panes rellenos, bleh. You're right. There you go, no sabo, right?
No, you're
Um,
not an Osavo, man. Nah. But yeah, those are,
bro,
man. Like what do they say nowadays? Oh, that's bussing.
oh,
Man, those paneros are
dude,
bussing.
I still say that's fire. That's
I
fire.
I I'll be honest. I'll say that's fire, and also say that's bussing, just
Oh,
because I
okay.
have a 7-year-old brother, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
around him all the time,
Yeah,
and I think it's just part of my lingo now.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I will
okay.
use bussing, unironically.
Yeah, and actually to that, I'll add I'll say that when I'm around my younger brother and sister too, they got their the new, they're caught up in the new lingo, and I'll say it, and they're like, dude, don't say it. But you know how it is, guys. But yeah,
Oh, that's
horneado.
so funny, dude.
So my mom is Salvadorian and my dad is Peruvian.
Ah, okay,
So, and if you know Peruvian, Peruvian dishes, Peruvian meals, a lot of people will say, Peruvian food is, their ceviche, lomo saltado, arroz chaufa, pollo a la brasa, things like that, dude. So if I
mm,
can eat, if that's like 8 meals right there, right? It's 8 different dishes right there.
sure,
So
sure, sure.
I could eat that every day, all day. Well, actually, and pizza
Ah, pizza.
and
You
steaks,
can't go wrong with pizza though.
bro. Man,
Pizza's good.
at night, man, and this is actually my sixth occupation. At night, when everyone's asleep, man, I'm a Ninja Turtle, dude. Nah,
Bro,
just
what?
kidding.
Just for the pizza slice?
Yeah,
Oh my
the
god, that's
Teenage
funny,
Mutant Ninja.
bro.
Yeah, no, no, man,
Yeah.
I
No,
love.
there's just a lot, man. Like I feel like with us being Hispanic, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
think I think it's so hard to narrow down to just like one specific like dish in terms of like our culture. It's really really hard because my fiance, shout out Emily, she's Mexican, right?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
I'm Honduran. Our cultures and our foods are very different, but
yeah, yeah.
man, Mexican food,
Oh, bro,
so good.
I love tacos, bro.
Mm.
You give me a good taco, I'm very happy.
Dude, tacos, pozole, like all that stuff, man. Like their tamales. Oh, dude, it's good, man. Like I'm gonna get hungry if I'm talking about all this
Let
pozole
me
right
see.
now.
Let me see. All right, let's do this. Favorite 2 dishes, not including parents' food, right? Because everyone's gonna be like mom's food, dad's food,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and it's a comfort thing. So
Sure, sure.
not including any of their dishes that they make. I'm probably gonna go with a solid. I'm gonna go with a good ribeye. Like, you give me a good ribeye,
Mm.
medium. I'm gonna say medium well,
Gotta go
or no,
medium rare for me. If I'm picking
medium
steak,
rare.
medium
Damn,
rare.
bro, I
I
did not
love
know
medium
that. Oh,
rare.
you serious?
It's good.
Dang, dude.
Medium rare. I can't go rare though. The rare
Yeah.
is a bit crazy for me. I can't do
Oh yeah, yeah, no, no. Yeah, no, man. As you get older, I used to be a medium rare guy. As I got older, no good.
that. Excuse me.
The internal
Uh,
is different. The
we'll,
internal,
we'll we'll see how my body starts reacting to it
yeah,
once I get
for
a little
sure,
bit
for
older.
sure.
Then
And then, honestly, a good pizza. I mean, those 2 things, I could pretty much have every day. Just
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember you said fried chicken,
I
which
did.
kind of
I
threw
did
me
say
off.
fried chicken.
You
I
did.
love fried chicken, dude. Man, I don't know if it's the Honduran in me, but we have a dish over there called pollo con tajadas,
Never heard of
and
it.
it's fried chicken with fried plantains.
Seriously? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
dude,
Oof,
fried chicken, dude.
bro.
I
What,
love it. I
pollo
love it.
campero or what?
Pollo con pollo is also pretty good.
Dude.
Like
So
if
what's
you
your
want like some like I guess quote unquote fast food fried chicken, pollo campero is legit. It's there. It's good.
yeah. So what's the fried chicken spot right now? Is it KFC? I think, or
No, no, not
Popeyes.
KFC. I mean, just frying the chicken at home, bro.
Actually, Harps has good fried chicken.
Do they?
You not had Harps fried chicken?
I haven't. No, I don't ever go
Bro,
to Harps. So maybe
I
that's why.
okay for their, they have fried chicken, and I would say give it a shot. See what you think.
I'm about to try it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm never opposed to trying fried chicken
yeah.
anywhere. I
That's
love it. So
okay. Okay,
it,
yeah, yeah.
it,
That's
it'll
too
it'll be
funny.
good.
That's too good, man. But like I said, kind of changing on, moving on over here and talking about now the Northwest Arkansas area,
Yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
If Enrique, what do you tell people about this area? Again, if you've never been here, if you're talking to someone, that a client called you, out of state client, something like that, what do you say?
It's a bit hard because there's just so much in this area. But I mean, I think the biggest thing that I always like to touch on is that we're able to do kind of everything.
Okay.
So if you're like a fit person who likes to be in nature and likes to hike trails and
Yeah.
just be outside, be active,
Yeah.
I highlight that because we have that here.
We definitely do. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of outdoor
We do.
activities.
We
Yeah, for
do.
sure.
But I mean, it's not just that. I mean, like you said here, the whole Northwest Arkansas area, it's almost like a mini city, if you will.
Hmm, hmm,
So maybe you aren't a fitness person who likes to go on hikes, or you just like to go out and hang out.
hmm.
You know, there's restaurants, there's bars, and all that stuff, and I mean, there's just so much. I just telling you, get the best of both worlds.
For sure.
I feel like it's pretty difficult to get bored here. I don't know what you would think, or if you have the same opinion, or if you think it would be different.
It's similar. Yeah, yeah, it's similar. This area is definitely and again, the whole area is definitely outdoors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of outdoor activity from and you might say, well, what is it? Why do you guys rock? It's mountain biking. Um, mountain bike. We're a big mountain bike community,
Hmm.
and that
Yeah,
might
we have a
also.
lot of mountain biking trails. What do they say? I don't know if this is like self-proclaimed or not,
Oh,
but they say that we're the mountain biking capital of the world.
I
I've
have
heard it
heard that.
many
Yeah, I've
times.
heard it many times. I think they say the unofficial. It's not yet there, but I would say the unofficial official.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, unofficial, official. I
unofficial official
mean,
official.
I
Yeah,
mean, I can see why. I mean, I'm not like I don't go mountain biking all the time, right? I
yeah,
mean, I've gone maybe 4 or 5 times,
sure.
but the trails are always really clean
Yeah.
and they're always full, man. Not to where you can't enjoy yourselves and enjoy the trails, but there's a lot of people who go to them,
Hmm, hmm.
and I mean that just kind of speaks volumes on the biking community here in Northwest Arkansas,
Hundred
and
percent.
especially there in Bentonville with the
Yeah.
trails they have there. You know, you got Slaughter Pen, you've got
Oh,
I don't even know them. There's just
uh,
there's a bunch of them.
yeah, Slaughterpin is definitely popular. But
Rail
yeah.
Yard is another one, right? That's there in
Oh
downtown
yeah, really.
Rogers.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, the
That's
Rail
another
Yard.
one. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, yeah, this is a really big biking community, and if you're not into the mountain bike part of it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we also have the greenways, right? The paved
Yeah.
trails, and I mean there as and actually another a sneak peek is we're having a gentleman by the name of I won't say it. I'll just say that we'll have someone from Lane Shift here in the next coming weeks. And if you don't know who
Yeah.
Lane Shift is, they're a great local organization here in Bentonville. And I did a active transportation academy with them back in May, and I kid you guys not, the paved trails that we have here in, again, we call them greenways
Mhm.
here in Northwest Arkansas, is I can take a greenway trail, which is a concrete trail, paved trail, from Bella Vista all the way to Fayetteville. Kind of like the
They're all
square to square.
connected.
They're all connected from north, south, east, and west. And they're continuing to add to that. So that was a combination effort from
Mm.
all from Rogers, Springdale, and all that. But yeah, a
Yeah,
lot.
so you can spend your whole day riding around the
Dude,
trails
you
if you
can be
want. I
all
mean, I don't know
day.
how your knees are gonna feel after that, but I mean,
And another thing is e-bikes.
I love
Oh,
e-bikes.
dude, an
Yeah,
e-bike, bro,
e-bike,
is
dude.
where it's at, man.
Yeah,
You can
they
ride all
have
day.
this thing in downtown Bentonville. I think they're called YT,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially what you can do is you can go and they'll give you like 2-hour trial with their e-bikes at no cost.
Oh, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you
Shout
sign up,
shout
and you
out to
have
them.
to, yeah, shout out to
I'm gonna
them, dude.
reach out to them and be
Seriously,
like, hey, let's
yeah.
go.
So you have to sign up because I think they're usually pretty booked. So you want to make
Okay.
sure that you're kind of doing it maybe like a week and a half in advance. And I actually found this out through Francisco, our team leader. I went
Yeah.
with him,
Yeah, yeah.
but I thought it was so cool that they let you, try out one of their e-bikes for about 2 hours. And
Huh.
dude, mountain biking with that was like the best experience I ever had. Like that, I really enjoyed mountain biking when I went with that e-bike. It was good.
That's awesome. I have done an e-bike on the paved trails. Dude, I can ride all day. Give me 4 or 5 hours on that, and to me, it's still like an exercise because it's not just the throttle like the scooters. It's
Hmm.
you're
You still got
actually
to pedal.
you still got to pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that still
Yeah, my quads are feeling a little bit sore the day after still, and I'm because while you're there, you're riding like it really feels like somebody else is pedaling with you, like at the same
right.
time. I really don't know how to describe it, but like let's say you push your pedal once or twice, it feels like it's pedaling 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, right, right.
I
Gives
don't know
that
if that makes
boost.
sense or it
Yeah,
translates
yeah,
well,
yeah,
but it's like boosting it,
yeah.
and it makes going up like the hills or just like cruising. It makes it really really fun.
No, for sure.
Yeah, so something to do if you guys are wanting to try to e-bike, go to YT and then
So,
downtown in Bentonville.
and actually, yeah, White. If I remember right, I think YT is right next door to the Ledger Building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's right
it's right there.
there. It's
Yep,
very
yep.
close. Yeah.
So, but something I tell people when I talk about this area, and this is almost one of the first things that I really mention. Besides the
Mhm.
people, That's that is actually the part that makes it really good as well. That all the community,
Yeah.
man, everywhere we go, at least almost everywhere we go here in Northwest Arkansas, man, everyone's just really nice, and I think that is what really makes this area really great.
Yeah.
You can walk down in Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, and I know some people are saying, "Oh, I wouldn't go there in Springdale, or I wouldn't go there in Rogers, or I wouldn't go there in Centerton, or something like that." But I think again, we're just talking about a general feel of this whole area, dude. It,
Yeah.
it just you're all right.
Mhm.
You are in a good
I feel
place.
like you could be walking down the sidewalk and people will like smile at you or like they'll wave at
Yeah.
you. They'll be like, "Hey,
Still
how's
open
it
doors for
going?"
you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Exactly. You can wave to someone. You can pet their dog. You can, and again, coming from a bigger city like myself, that wasn't really the norm. So
yeah.
to
So how was it? Let's say for example, you're walking down the street in California. What
uh,
city are you from in California, by the way?
oh yeah. So I did most. I live in Ontario, California, which is about an hour from LA.
Okay,
Kind of close to the Riverside area, Rancho Cucamonga, Chino
okay.
Hills
So
area.
so let's say you're walking down uh uh like a sidewalk in
Sure.
Los Angeles. What do you? How are the people going to react to you? You think?
I just think, I think a lot of times when you're in a bigger city, you kind of don't want to interrupt somebody, or you don't want to get too much attention from somebody else. I don't know. I mean, I remember when I worked in downtown LA for a bit,
Mhm.
you didn't really like, you just did your own thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't want to cause attention. You didn't want,
Do you think it has to do with, and I don't want to say like safety because like
yeah,
it's dangerous. I mean, I've never been to LA, so I don't know if it's
yeah,
dangerous or not. But do
yeah,
you think people are having that in their head, like, oh, I need to be cautious, I need to be safe because I don't know this person.
uh-huh,
Which that's good. You're exercising that right to be safe, which you should
yeah,
still do that here.
right, right.
But
It's been a few years, especially, and I'll say this: when I lived in Ontario, it reminded me of Bentonville, Rogers area a lot. It
okay,
was, yes.
okay, that's
And
cool.
I always told my California friends in Ontario,
Mm,
I said Bentonville and Rogers is basically Ontario in 20 years. Like, that's kinda how I described it.
okay,
So, again, give or take. So,
sure, sure,
but then you'd go to LA, it would just be different, different. I would say Ontario was nicer, LA was, not as nice as Ontario or something like that, or Rancho Cucamonga or something like that, right?
right,
So, I always did say that, but, when I said when I worked in downtown LA, you kinda just did your own thing. You didn't really bother anyone, you didn't really look at
yeah,
anyone, you just
okay.
looked straight ahead, and you didn't open the door
Well,
for anyone, or just, I don't
yeah.
know, you just,
I wonder. I
you
wonder
just
if you get like a funny look if somebody you hold the door open for somebody. You think like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, or they might be like, "Oh, thanks," or they might not say anything.
Mm,
They just, it is. But
yeah, that's funny.
I always tell people, when I talk about this area, is that yes, this is the home of Walmart.
Ah,
That,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, this
started out
is
in Bentonville. Good old Sam Walton.
exactly, dude. And so you got, and just for reference, so that from you got Bentonville has is Walmart home office, right? Corporate
Mm,
office.
hmm.
Got a lot of corporate people here in this area, a lot of
Oh
execs,
man,
a lot of
yeah.
money, and it is just what it is. Then you have Rogers, which is just south of Bentonville, right? And Rogers is a really great community. I went to Rogers High School. I love Rogers. And then you have Lowell, which is a smaller city next to
It's kind of
Rogers.
like in between Springdale and Rogers a
Correct,
little bit.
correct,
Yeah,
yeah. And Lowell is home, or headquarters of JB Hunt,
yeah. It's another big
the trucking
company
company.
here
Yeah,
in the area.
another, yep. And then again, we're going south. You go to Springdale. You have the headquarters of
Yeah,
Tyson
good
Chicken.
old good old Tyson
Man,
chicken.
everyone be eating Tyson,
Everybody,
chicken or pork
yeah.
or whatever,
Do you
right?
know? You're. I don't know. I'm sure everybody knows this, right? But like by RHS, they have like the Tyson plant right there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it always smells like chicken when I'm
Oh,
driving through there,
100%.
or
Yeah,
it
yeah,
smells like
yeah.
food because they're doing
A
stuff.
heritage, man.
It's
That's what.
Heritage, not RHS.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me, it was Heritage.
Yeah,
Yes.
Heritage, yep. Yeah, no, I remember that. And then lastly, in Fayetteville, you have the University of
Yeah, we got
Arkansas.
the
So you have
campus.
the campus, you have all the sports teams
You
from the
know, they
campus.
said that recently in Fayetteville, if I'm remembering correctly, I think they now hit a population of 100,000 people
Oh,
living
really?
in
Oh
Fayetteville.
man, I gotta look
Yeah,
that up. Yeah,
yeah.
I can see
We'll
that.
have to fact check it, but I think it's accurate because
I
I
can
mean, you have
definitely
the
see that.
campus
Yeah.
there, and I mean, you got people going there, and then a lot of people are just when they graduate there, they tend to stay here locally, at least to my knowledge. So I mean, you have a lot of other people here too, just going to the U of A. So there's a lot of people living in
So
Fayetteville.
I just Googled it, and it said,
Oh,
yeah, it was 101. So
My
100, yeah,
gosh.
102,000 people in
Oh,
2023.
so it's definitely more now. We're in
Yeah, it might. Yeah,
2025.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely way more than that.
Yep. Yeah. So
It won't be long before.
the whole area combined, I mean, we're. I think if I remember right, Benville was probably like around 60, and then Rogers was like around 70 or something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
All I know is that they said in the next like 25 years, by like 2050 or something like that, it'll be like a population of 1 million people with
Oh.
all the cities
Oh,
combined.
right, right. Yeah, I totally
Which,
believe it.
with the way we're growing, I don't see that not being untrue.
Correct. Yeah. So, for the folks listening, this area. Oh, and like I said, the U of A, right, and all that.
Hmm.
For the folks listening, dude, this area, and this is in. I mean, I gotta say, like a 30-mile radius. From Bella Vista to Fayetteville is like give or take 20 to 30 miles,
You,
right?
you can visit every like quote unquote major city here in the Northwest Arkansas area like in a day.
Man,
It
dude.
probably less,
Oh
honestly.
yeah, in an hour,
Yeah.
if any. But like I said, 20 miles from Bentonville, Walmart home office to the U of A is maybe like 26, 27 miles, something like that.
Hmm.
You have these $1 million or $1 billion companies all in this
Oh
area.
yeah.
And if you think about that, all the executives in there, all the management team there, all the employees there. So there's a lot of money in this area. And what I mean by that is just a lot of moving things. So you have a lot of wealth in this
Yeah, I
area.
mean, you got what? Let's think of Sam Walton's daughter. I can't remember her name,
Oh
but like
yeah.
the Walmart, they're reinvesting a lot
Yeah.
into the
I think you're talking
area.
about Alice Walton.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Alice Wong, yes.
Yeah.
That company is, at least in Bentonville,
Right.
they're reinvesting a lot of that to make the community what it is, and I think that's huge, because we benefit from that. Even
We
if you're
do.
not living in that specific city, we
100%.
do benefit
100%.
from it because we visit it. Maybe we want to go have lunch in that city for the
Yes.
day.
Yes.
So for us, I think that that's pretty valuable for our area.
And I think, I got to say, it's not just those companies that make this area what it is.
No,
I
of
mean, it
course.
helps, but I think it's a combination of things. I mean, it could be weather, it can be the land, it can be the amenities, it can be the attractions, it can be the way of life here in this area.
Yeah.
The combination of those things really give us like a really, I enjoy my life here. You know what I mean? And to
Hmm.
me, I
I
think
agree.
because of that, we get to grow as individuals, and we get to, just really enjoy a life in a different way, that maybe a different part of the country.
Sure.
And it's just how it is. So this area, again, highlighting that thing, there's so many great people here. And this is even before all that, like when I was in grade school here, there was still all those type of people, these really great people. I mean, I have so many
Yeah.
people in mind that I think about that have blessed me and have cared for me, and all these things.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
again, all those things now as an adult, we benefit those. We
For sure,
benefit those.
man.
Yeah,
I agree.
we get to enjoy those. How do you say that? Like enjoy those things as
I don't
citizens.
know if I want amenities. I think is
Yeah,
the.
enjoy those amenities, enjoy what they do to put back into the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We just get to our parks are awesome. All the Walmarts in this area. I mean, you won't find a better looking Walmart than here.
That's funny.
Our sports complexes for our kids, right? Like if you have a family and you put them in a soccer program or you put them in a sports program,
Hmm.
dude, those fields that they go to are going to just be great. Now, some might say, "Oh, the Rogers or Springdale or Fayetteville is it's not as good as the Bentonville one." Man, but if you're talking about comparing it to like the nation, dude, even all of them are still really, really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, overall, it is great. But um, oh man, what was I thinking? What's one of the most recent things or places that you like that's come to this area? We'll kind of close off with that.
Man, it's hard to say, man. Um,
It could be a
all I
restaurant. It
know,
can be a restaurant. It can be a trail. It can be a
yeah,
business. I don't know.
all I know is that there's this one restaurant, and they've been here for a while already.
Oh, I'm curious. Okay.
But and I think I mentioned to you before, but it's this little mom and pop shop that they have, and it's like a breakfast place in
Oh,
downtown
okay.
Rogers. It's called Westner's Grill.
Okay.
It may not be everyone's cup of tea per se, but I personally really do like going there. I feel like they give you a pretty good portion.
Okay.
And they've been here for, I don't even know how long, but many many years. And so that's the kind of place that I
Oh
like
yeah,
to
yeah,
frequent
yeah. I've
and
been
have
there,
breakfast here
dude.
and
That's a
there.
good spot. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
is,
like it there. I think it's
dude.
good.
Legit, man. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's like a breakfast spot. It's not really new per se, but it's new to
Yeah.
me because I found out about it. I think call it late in 2024 or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go there with my fiance. I'll go there with my friends. I mean,
Yeah.
I I don't know. I just think it's a nice
It's a
place to have
it,
breakfast and hang out.
it's your traditional diner. Like if you
Yes.
look at photos of it, it has that traditional diner feel.
Yeah.
And
They've got Coke products, like, everywhere, though. Like, on the walls, like,
oh yeah,
memorabilia
yeah, yeah,
almost,
yeah,
like, they have,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
old soda bottles and,
I
like,
see what you're
old
saying.
signs and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's a cool vibe, though. I like you said, it's a diner style, and
nice,
I think it's cool. I
nice,
do
nice,
enjoy
nice,
going
nice.
there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, do you have somewhere that you like? I mean, I don't know if it's, like, it doesn't have to be breakfast, right? But I don't know if
yeah,
if you're at a
yeah.
restaurant or bar or whatever.
A place that I really enjoy, that I really enjoy and that I do here in the area. I want to say, give me a second. I'm gonna say Hugo's in Fayetteville, the burger spot.
I don't think I've been there.
What man?
The
It's in the I don't want to say it's in a basement, but you have it's under a building, right? Like you have to take some stairs down to
Ah,
go to it.
okay, okay.
And to me, I just love the feel when you go there.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know you're about to get some good food. So shout out to Hugo's in Fayetteville.
yeah.
Yeah,
A burger spot. No, we're talking about burgers just
yeah.
real quick. It's like a
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
it's like a food truck in Fayetteville.
Okay.
It's called a gym. I don't know if you've heard it
No,
before,
no, I have not heard that.
but
It's
it's like a
Jim.
food truck,
Okay.
and I haven't been there in a while, and I hope they're still there. But man, they make some good burgers there.
Oh, okay.
I
I gotta
really do
look that up,
like
man. You
it.
gotta send that out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you gotta
I
send
would
that to me.
recommend going.
So
I don't imagine they've moved spots or whatever,
okay.
but if they're
El
around still,
El
they're
Jim.
good. El Gym, yeah.
That's so funny.
It's funny because they serve you these humongous burgers, man. Like their portions are crazy, and they're just so good, man. So good.
For sure. Well, guys, we want to wrap up here. We really just want to introduce ourselves to you all, to y'all, to everyone.
That's funny.
Enrique and I, this is just something that we're doing this together. And again, getting familiar with with each other,
Yeah,
getting
man.
familiar with our audience. And again, any feedback, please send it over. Please follow us on Instagram. Like I said, So
Yeah,
NWA podcast.
right.
Share with your family and friends if you're really interested. Again, if you're interested in like our mission and our journey and our
Sure.
goal, share this with your family and friends and say,
Yeah,
hey, this is something that's going to highlight again the episodes coming um, soon are going to have guest speakers on there. And I
yeah,
mean, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but I would say just like we have a local business owner in P Ridge coming, we have a local organization owner and founder of Pedal It Forward coming
mhm,
over. Again, we have the mayor of P Ridge coming soon.
yeah,
Who else? We got a principal coming over.
yeah. We'll have some
Yeah,
facilitators coming and talk
yeah.
about
So
their experience with education here in the area. So
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that we got going and planned for
yeah.
the podcast.
And one last thing, if anyone has someone they'd like to nominate or
Yes.
participate in this program, dude, I'm working on like a Google spreadsheet or something like
Yeah, yeah,
that, so
yeah.
that way people can fill out and
Mhm.
say, hey, I think this, and again, it's just we can meet and do all that. But anyways, again, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in. What was much love, from us to you
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, no, so y'all take care. Wait, like I said, follow us,
Yep. Make
share.
sure you follow us, share. If you spent the full hour or so with us, thank you for your time. Time is
Yes,
really valuable.
correct.
So we do appreciate it, and we look forward to you guys tuning in next time. Thanks.
Man, all right. Goodbye, guys. Take care.